Hi guys, hello anak muda. Welcome back to another episode of the Sambal Pod. So before we start, let me apologize in advance because it's been a while since we had an episode. But this time, it's a bit weird because you can finally see my face.
Hey anak muda, Afiq Kamaruddin here, one half of the founding members of Renegade Radio, and we're so proud to be collaborating with the Sambal Pod on this intriguing yet eye-opening project called Sekolah Apa. At Renegade Radio, we're rebels with a cause. Armed with an independent network and an agency, we sought to help brands and creators build powerful podcasts to amplify their voice and cement their authority. To find out more about us, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and pretty soon, a brand new website. On behalf of Renegade Radio, we sincerely believe in the mission and vision of the Sambal Pod, and we hope you guys enjoy the show. So, kau sekolah apa?
Jechung has been a Chinese school student and we have duty free as a Tamil school rep. So I've definitely not had the vernacular school experience. So I think it's pretty obvious because I don't even have a third language. So I think it's pretty cool because you guys have a third language, So you guys have another language that you guys are cool in. So speaking about languages, is it hard to be fluent in Malay since you attended a vernacular school? You're starting it off spicy. So duty free, please proceed.
So it comes under the mixed conception, right? So is it like myth or is it truth? So like from my experience, I would say partially truth, maybe. I can tell this one, maybe my short experience, like fluent thing during my primary school. So it's like after my primary school, after finishing the UPSR and all, with a good result. Although with a good result, when we enter the environment with more than one race, like Malays, Chinese. Previously, I was with only my community, like mainly, not only, but mainly when we were at the school. So when I entered the new one, so the space was different. And teachers, the students, everyone, it's like a diversity there, right? Like many people, like with many languages is going on. So I think the main thing that made me feel like whether I'm not fluent or not, to ask myself is to not try at the first place. It's like a self-doubt maybe at that moment. I'm asking myself those days, am I able to speak fluently? And also I started...
It's just insecurity.
The correct word. But also when we, at that age, normally, we tend to compare ourselves with others. So for my case, when I started to compare myself with others, specifically, the SK students, Tamil SK students actually. So because we are relatable by Tamil, right? We are Tamil, they are Tamil, but they are from that background, which is Sekolah Kebangsaan. Malay medium. Of course, they will have better experience. In terms of speaking and their language also. So the comparison, I think I would say, actually stopped me from trying. So actually, throughout that process, actually I thought because of the self-doubt, I started to judge myself that I'm not going to talk well, something like that. But then when I came out of my comfort zone, then I tried to engage with them and so on. Then I realized actually I can talk. In a good way where they can actually understand us.
Depends on your mentality and how you are as an individual as well. You have to just put yourself out there and try.
Yes.
Okay, Jechung, what about you?
About me, I might have a slightly similar experience in back then. As usual, when we were still young, we tend to compare each others on those competitions, like public speaking competitions, storytelling competitions, something like that. And that we myself back then was comparing who's the champion, who's the first and second place and everything. So when it comes to that part, we won't really really train or to say like we purposely want to be fluent in Bahasa Melayu, but in the sense where the
The
platform was
competition
given,
helped you.
we are the competition helps, and also it's like indirectly you've been trained to speak Bahasa Melayu, or else I might not be imagining myself can speak Bahasa Melayu fluent in secondary school lah. So what I done because and what I done was back then I used to take the initiative to learn myself on how to speak Malay in fluency. So at least you need to get to know like how does actual Malay people speak? How does actual Malay person speaks Malay? The pronunciation, the intonation, the slang. Sometimes I need to catch up with that because all I know when I was a kid, I know one thing is that Malay's pronunciation was fast, and they are really how to say very very accurate in terms of the pronunciation and the rhythm. So for example, in in Chinese schools, right, we tend to like focus on nilai munis and everything. They only talk on theories, but in communication wise, there's very, I mean, not to say very, but it's less practical when it comes to communication needs. So what my approach is more towards like communication. So back then, I would just like listen through like online broadcasts, listen to how they speak actually, how they at least, you know, reading the saja, pantun, the pronunciation, and then sometimes occasionally I would really force myself to speak Malay with my neighbors in Malay neighbors, because I know that in Chinese school there is not much that experience in speaking Malay fully. So sometimes I need to take the initiative as well, even though the Malay teacher, the teacher who teaches Malay, sometimes uses Mandarin to explain as well. She knows a bit, but I usually just want to say I want to speak fully Malay. So that's how I train myself. So it wasn't really about saying that vernacular schools are not giving a fluency in Bahasa Melayu, but it all downs to how you took the initiative, how you took the effort to be fluent in Bahasa Melayu lah, I would say.
Then it boils down to individual lah. So
Yeah.
how you do it, the approach that you take to be fluent. And I think it's pretty cool. That means you guys get to be fluent in Malay and you have another language. I don't have a third language, so I think it's pretty cool that you guys have a third language as well. And yes, just now we were talking about Malay. Let's talk about different race and community. Did you had friends, from a different race when you were studying in your prospective schools in primary school?
If I still can recall my batch, right, I've only have what, even though there are like 10 Malays there, or not to say 10 Malays lah, I can't recall the exact exact Indian students number already, because there are some, and then there also comes with Malay students. It's only a small number as well, but my friends is around like 1 or 2 or 3. Because they occasionally also speaks Chinese lah. So my exposure back then to in primary school time, in the primary school, there's less. But when I stepped out of primary school, when I stepped out of primary school, maybe in outside area, I do came across with 1 or 2, and that's quite little. But yeah, after I graduate from primary school, that's when I started to have my own social circle with mixed races lah. So yeah, but that doesn't mean that I choose cherry picking lah. I always like get myself to expose and get to know with different races as well. Like I said, when I still can remember when I was in primary 3, there was a Malay student transferred to our class. He sit next to me, so that's when I get to know what is puasa, what is their Malay culture. How do they usually speak in Malay back in the days? And then sometimes, occasionally, he teach me a bit bahasa Jawi. I was like, okay, that's cool, that's cool. And then
Okay.
yeah,
I mean, do you mean to listen Jawi? To listen Jawi? Because I think if bahasa, it might be bahasa Arab. It might be, if Jawi, it's the to listen. Because you can, the to listen, because you speak in Malay, but the to listen is different. So they have a whole different writing, whole different writing script. Yeah, so
yeah.
If language, it might have been
Because
Arabic
back-
lah.
Yeah, of course lah. But I think I think I learned the word, Malays kan, they call it like Assalamualaikum, something like that, right? I learned that
Assalamualaikum, yeah.
from my friend. I learned that from my friend in primary 3. I think I still can remember. They said like, oh, that's how you guys speak lah. Okay, faham. That's how
That's how
I
they
get
salam.
to know
Okay,
with.
that's how they greet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's the beautiful part of Malaysia lah. We get to understand all these different beautiful beautiful cultures from each other. Yes. Okay, thank you, Jachung, for sharing that. Jyotishree, what about you?
Sometimes like even like nowadays, like we can see like Chinese, wanted to learn Tamil, they are there, right?
Okay.
So like unfortunately during my time,
During your time,
yeah, I
you didn't
know.
have that. But now
maybe in
you
my
see
class
that.
there was no one.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could have, so I could tell more.
No worries. But so your only interaction with the non-Indian would have been with your neighbors, or
I mean in the school, like
Yeah,
there
during your primary school
there
period,
was
yes.
no like other than Indians. But when it comes to like when I go out, like what he shared, like when I go out, like during my time, like I participated in many like district level competition and so on. Yes, there I actually got the opportunity to interact. Yeah, so
when you
now-
represent your school in competition.
that's the, I can say like this was the main opportunity at that moment to interact. And neighbors, yes, mainly Chinese. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because my area likes like mainly the population there, Chinese and Indians. Then
I
comes
see.
Malay. So like, and there is another thing, like there is a connection between my mom and to this question. Actually, she is from SK school previously.
Okay.
As I said, she has a very good, like that kind of like where her level of that. I mean, in that language is very like good.
Okay.
Like so, from that actually, I mean, I got the opportunity to observe how she actually communicating with other races during my school times, mainly primary school, like I can say 8 to 10 years old, something like that. Actually, that made me to learn first, like to observe. So like my interaction mainly was observation during like 8 to 10 years old. Then after that, I started to exploring other opportunities, like going out of the school, representing the school. Then I found other races, other students. Then sometimes it was interesting to know, to speak with them. Yeah, like he said, like through like one maybe a short conversation, we can actually learn many
You learn
things.
new things,
Yeah,
yeah.
like the puasa thing, right? So yeah. So that's the like mainly about me, like during my time, like to answer the question.
It'd be okay to say that like you kind of learned Malay from your mother as well.
Yes.
You had an Indian mother, but your Indian mother interacted with other races, so you learned Malay, while observing her interaction as well.
Yes.
Okay, cool, amazing. So let's talk about struggles. So let's go to the bad stuff. Just now everything was so positive, so let's tone it down a little. So yeah, what were the kind of struggles that you guys face in your school? Because like for me, right, I feel like, I don't know, like for me, I feel like imagining my situation now, if I went to a Chinese school or Tamil school, other than the language, it would be pretty hard to integrate in the culture as well, because I have no idea of your culture, your co-curricular activities and stuff like that. But maybe that's just my point of view, because I have no idea of that, right? I have no idea of that role at all. So Jachung, feel free to go first.
Okay. Okay. It's more like first things first, of course, academics lah, requirements, because
I think that is all school lah. With Asian
parents,
that is all schools lah. But yes, please go
yeah,
on.
the old school type like those times when the Asian parents kick in, Asian parent culture kicks in. You need to be this and that, and then they always fight for. I mean, I think this is kind of normal lah. Like you need to get a grade A, something
To get
like
number
that.
one, A plus, A is not enough.
Yeah. So back then when I was in academically wise, I don't know why lah. It's just I don't know why. Before the finals kicks in, like as in every year there's a final year exam, right? So during my midterm across semesters, right? I was in the mid table when I was in the first class lah. When I was in the first class, there was really like literally they have from the first class until the last class, and it's really ranked by academic wise. So when I was in a top class, when the times when I was really struggling to be compared with the others when they will be really tip top, and then I was in the mid table ranged, but all of a sudden, finally, like in final years exams, right, I was able to push it to top 15.
You got to glow
top
up.
15,
Okay.
top 10, something like that lah. And people was like, bro, what the heck is that? And then because of that comparison, like I'm not so sure lah, but back in the days when I was in my class, we often got ourselves so compared, especially
Yeah,
me
very
and the
competitive, right?
others when yeah, very competitive until the certain time that you try. I was that young to realize about competitiveness, but you ultimately stressed and really fight, work hard to really match up with their intelligence, like, or else it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna be ranked otherwise. So there will be like a class, not to say a cluster, but it's like, okay, this group is really the intelligent guy, this group is kind of mid-table, this one is like a little bit maybe lesser, but that's when the difference comparison comes in and makes things more competitive. And in a sense where times where I got my health a bit dropped because I was a bit too stressed to match up with things. Then number two, it's about because we're in a, not to say that it's because of ethnicity the same, but also kind of like a social class difference as well. I wasn't really that wealthy lah. I was just like a mid-ranged, and there were things that it's in like a slightly well-formed punya status lah.
So you had friends who are wealthier than you?
Financially.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there is like comparison as well lah. And three, it's more towards like how to say it's about like how you get along with them. Because honestly, until now, I still don't understand. I'm still sometimes be questioning myself, what makes me quite unacceptable compared to others. So I don't know what's the problem behind this, but this often float through my mind is that what makes me sometimes can't get along with them when I was young. So sometimes like this kind of communication wise, in terms of making friends, there was a certain, not to say standard, aside from mutual interest, it's like a standard that makes you like, okay, we can talk along each other, something like that lah. So I think that's more towards my struggles lah, I would say. Yeah.
You brought up a good point. I mean, I'm happy that you shared this story because I think it just shows that yes, kids are kids lah. That is true, but sometimes we have to accept the fact that there are some kids who are not that developed personality wise at that point of time. I mean, all of us were young and stupid, we were immature. Okay, that is understandable. And some kids were just nasty lah. To just put it out there, some kids were just nasty, and some of us who were a bit quiet and a bit timid, I guess it's way more easier to get picked up on. I mean, I used to have a lot of social anxiety as well. I mean, even now I'm an introvert. I tend to be very quiet when people know me first. I mean, because we're on a podcast, then you're going to hear me talking loud.
Yeah.
But other than the host, I feel like people who know me would call me a very quiet girl. So, yeah, I think sometimes it's just how we are as a human being. And I think as we grow, we try to find our tribe. We try to find our friends who we are used to. And we just try to be nice to people. But if people are not going to be nice to you, then, forget about them. Move on. Just move on. Yeah, really.
That's the only option.
Yeah, just move on. So, Jyotishree, what do you have to add?
Like previously during my primary school, the teachers were teaching the main medium that they will use is Tamil, of course, like to communicate and so on, and it will differ based on the subjects. Like for science and other subject, they will mainly use English.
Okay.
Right. So when I entered, after entering the secondary school,
yes.
the communication, like even like taking science as an example, they were teaching.
In Malay.
Yeah.
Teachers taught it in Malay, the medium that they used when they were teaching.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Communicate in the class, So, I can say it's not like that struggle was not in a big scale, but at least I think I still was a struggle for me, if I recall, at that moment. So it's just I can say it was I was going through that state only in the initial
initial
stage,
phases,
like Form 1, something like that.
Okay.
Then I started to figure it out, like how and on. And there is always, I like to connect like this struggle with the confidence actually.
Okay.
To confidence to actually face the struggle, right? So how they actually like how to feel like I'm included in the conversation also. So what I did is like I started to gain and push my confidence in where I have my skills, like maybe in a higher level, like for Tamil, right? So I started to develop my skills like by participating in many Tamil related competition, actually, like public speaking, debating, even drama, something like that. I done
To build up your confidence.
Yes.
And-
To build the foundation first, like to actually the skills will be same, right? Just the
Yeah.
medium is
It's
different.
just the language is different.
Yeah. So I just did that. Like I like in my Form 1, Form 2, I started doing that. Figuring out by myself, like not by the external sources, like my parents who telling me to do that. No.
What you want to do.
Yeah. I just figure it out like by observing. So actually the Tamil education actually built me the confidence skill inside me, like to actually move out of my comfort zone to gain the skills first, and using that skills actually then what I did is trying with other languages. So the skills is traveling along, but with another new language, which is the second language. What I mean, Malay, it can be other language. So it's the confidence is actually a bridge between our first language and second language. So I think I actually overcome the struggle in that way. Then I started to participate in many Malay and also English related competitions. Like mainly my involvement was mainly in debating actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I improved a lot, and till like Form 5, I like able to gain awards, recognition through that. So it's always related. Like if you ask me, like how actually I saw the struggle and how I developed using the skill that I gained from my first language.
Your first initial setback. So you answered two of our questions actually. Thank you so much for sharing, and I think that just shows that you are a very positive person in general. Now I understand why she's such an accomplished person. Understand why now, okay? Basically, successful people are positive people. Okay, so Jiachung, let's go back to you. You have shared your struggles just now. Okay, to summarize, one was academically, which can be due to our surroundings, parents, that sense of competition we had when we were kids to compete with our peers. And then you also shared about fitting in with your friends, which is, I think fitting in is always going to be a struggle even until today. I think a lot of us put on this facade and try to act cool to fit in, but at the end of the day, we are all just very different people. and we're just trying trying our best. Okay, so that's totally fine. So yes, how did your school life shape your current mentality?
It's for me. I would say the competitiveness was the one that built me on my hard work lah, I would say. And it's like right now, okay, first and foremost is like, in order for you to, first thing is about fitting in, right? In order for me to be fitted in certain social groups, you need to make some efforts. What kind of things that you can do to make sure that you can get along with a community. So when I first joined in, fun fact, my secondary school was in Matab Sultan Abu Bakar, Johor Bahru. So it's English college lah. So it's still considered like, it's still like having the SMK's vibes lah, like, you know, those mixed ethnicity. But I told myself one thing is that, what can I do to get along with teachers and the friends from other races as well? So when I started to train on how to speak Malay, I tried to get along with the slang. And when I get in, it's like, asal kau bercakap macam orang Melayu? It's like, the pronunciation makes you like getting closer. And so that's how I feel like, okay, my effort finally takes into effect. And not to forget about academic wise, is like, because of that competitiveness, right? I always wanted to be, at least have something on myself. And what makes me different from the others, when people can find something special about me. So I always find things to continuously nourish myself in terms of, okay, let's say I'm good in speaking, I'm good in studying or something. Not to say studying like is good lah, but it's like at least good in speaking. Maybe can pick out one or two languages, something, or like even eventually master the language, and that's how make me feel like a standing out from standing out from the others as well, but also was getting friendlier. So I think that sense of competitiveness was the one that really shaped me on what can I do to improve myself lah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I guess your competitiveness did end with a positive note, because I feel like whenever we talk about Asian parents, we talk about this competition, we always talk about it from a very bitter standpoint, you know, a very bitter point of view. So I think it's cool that you were able to look at it from a positive view in the end. Okay, so we're running out of time. Last question. I would like both of you to answer this question in 3 words. Okay, so yes, I know we are at we are basically end of the episode, and just to bring the attention back, this episode is done in conjunction of Merdeka, so it's in conjunction of the National Month kan. So yeah, we all being patriotic here. So we want to know, what is the Malaysia that you dream of? What kind of Malaysia you want to see? So please tell that in 3 words. Duty Free, we'll start with you first.
Okay. Suddenly need to come up with the 3 words.
Yep. Just say whatever that you have in your mind, really.
Okay. Then it will be long.
But in 3 words, yeah.
Okay, I will say the words first, then maybe I can explain right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just try to get it, make it quick.
Okay. So, Malaysia that I dream of is mainly, we are referring the people actually. Okay. So, from that point, the 3 words is like identity.
Okay.
Diversity.
Okay.
And just and the third one is our life.
Okay.
Life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in identity, what do you mean?
Okay.
By identity?
Okay. Identity. Okay. I can explain like one by one. So identity is like our roots.
Okay.
So like for me, like taking as an example, like I'm from Tamil background and education, right? So it always like there like a foundation for me to grow, like, and mingle with everyone.
So
which
you
is
mean
the
by
diversity.
Cultural identity?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and also will mingle with everyone, which I'm trying to say with the second word, diversity.
Okay.
So it will actually give us basically will be there as a bridge actually from my point of view, to mingle with everyone.
Okay.
Don't give up on your identity, merge with others.
So don't give up your culture while
Yeah.
you go and learn about other cultures and learn more about people.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the reason is there is a connection.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't, recognize yourself or your roots, how we going to recognize others?
Other people's roots.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
so
a good point.
yeah, from that simple from that angle, and the third word, life, right?
Yeah.
So just live your life with this.
With these values,
Yeah.
with the cultural values that you have,
Yeah.
that you learn from your culture and also from all the other cultures that we
Yes.
have in Malaysia.
Yes.
Because basically all cultures, all religion, they all teach good things. We are the ones busy fighting and choosing which is better. So yeah, everyone's teaching good things. Okay, so thank you so much, Jyotishree, for that. Jiachung, 3 words. You ready?
Okay. My 3 words would be freedom,
Okay.
patriotic, and
Okay.
unity.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
for first things about freedom is like we always get along with each other. Yes, we do have the cultural difference. We do have the
Differences,
ethnicity
yeah.
difference, but I feel like this is one thing that portrays in a lot of times when sometimes we might hold ourselves because we do not accept or acknowledge people's different cultures and everything. But I really want to see in the future community this thing is like we do address each other, and particularly what she says as well, like, is about how we get along with the multicultural thing that sets our identity. And then patriotic is when we do something, we still remember our roots, the country that makes us grow. I mean, of course, when we tend to go to other countries as well, maybe for studies or work, but we still need to remember that we are a Malaysian from esports background. So
Okay.
when we are all of us supporting for one team competing or an individual competing in an international event, we all, despite our races, our ethnicity, we just came in together and support for our national team. And this is one thing that really portrays it well. We don't care about religion. We don't care about ethnicity. We don't care about race. We don't care about culture. We all grouped up together as a Malaysian to support our Malaysian representatives. So this is one thing that I was hoping to have as what is like Malaysia idaman lah. Yeah.
Okay. Malaysia yang Jiachung idamkan, okay? So that's the Malaysia that Jiachung dream of. So yes, Malaysians, please lah, let's not only be patriotic during Olympics, whenever we are supporting badminton, supporting Lisa Jia. No. Let's be patriotic all the time, okay? So please don't only be patriotic during August, during the Bulan Kemerdekaan. Let's all be in unity all the time. Let's not just fight and criticize each other's religion all the time. It's getting pretty boring lah, right? So with that, we are going to end this episode. Thank you so much, Jiachung, for joining us virtually. Thank you so much, Jyotishree, for giving your time. And yes, this is the end of the episode. Stay tuned for more episodes after this. Thank you.